Part 43. I Can Break the Dimensional Wall. Author, Zhozhezi Jumiao. Chapter 422. The moment the heroic spirit was summoned, Xiaoruo noticed it immediately. After all, the summoning of the heroic spirits is through the fantasy of the connection between the Hall of Valor and the original world. Xiaoruo can naturally perceive any changes in the Hall of Valor. However, Xiaoruo didn't expect that the first person to obey the player's call would be Kirito. After all, Xiaoruo and Kirito had the least communication, and Kirito joined the Fantasy Hall of Valor because Sinan invited him through the game invitation letter. To be honest, Xiaoruo, a character in World of Swords, originally wanted to expand the Hall of Valor, but it was obvious that Xiaoruo underestimated the enthusiasm of gamers in World of Swords. As for Kirito being the first to be summoned, it can only be said that he is indeed a teenager with an internet addiction. He sensed a new game and wanted to play it. The original world is equivalent to Xiaoruo's own small world, so Xiaoruo can see everything that happened in the original world. After he turned his perspective, he saw that Kirito was confronting the two Thunder Beast brothers. At the same time, the fantasy spirit in the palace, probably because Kirito was the first heroic spirit to be summoned, Kirito's reputation is rising in a straight line. Hundreds of prestige will increase every minute, and this growth rate is not weaker than the release of a fan animation. Seeing this growth rate, Xiaoruo was overjoyed. The heroic spirits in the Hall of Valor are Xiaoruo's property, and the prestige gained by the heroic spirits from being recognized by the players can be extracted by Xiaoruo. The original world that Xiaoruo spent all the prestige to build finally has income. Of course, Xiaoruo is not a capitalist either. After he draws part of his prestige, he will reserve part for the heroic spirits to fulfill their wishes. With the power of fantasy and ample reputation, Xiaoruo is completely a wishing machine, which can help the heroic spirits fulfill their wishes as a reward, maintaining a virtuous circle. The power of fantasy is much more reliable than the Holy Grail. Xiaoruo never thought about whether Kirito would be defeated by monsters and cause the prestige of the heroic spirit to plummet. Kiritani Kazuto, the male protagonist in the World of Sword Art Online, the Son of Heaven, the King of Hanging Wall, Tong Aotian, the central figure of a world. A character with so many labels, even if the world is different, even if this is not his home field, it is impossible for Kirito to be killed by a second-rate monster. On the other side, where Kirito was summoned, the summoning didn't last long, and the soaring blue light in the summoning array gradually dimmed. In the blue mist, with an extremely delicate face, a handsome swordsman in black slowly walked out of the summoning magic array. The short black hair and cloak fluttered in the breeze, everything seemed like a dream. Although they are all two-dimensional images, and the players also have unique costumes, the aura of this black-clothed swordsman are different from those of ordinary players in the original world. You can feel the power contained in his body just by looking at it from a distance. And a temperament that is out of tune with this world. The players on the scene, as well as the cloud viewers who were watching the live broadcast, all stared at the scene intently. The players on the scene watched the scene and shouted excitedly. Damn it, there is Huang, a heroic spirit has appeared. It really has appeared. Kirito, it's Kirito, SSR, actually summoned the protagonist of Sword Art Online. I knew that Rising would not let his own IP character go. Grandpa Tong, kill me, kill all these Dog Day monsters. Grandpa Tong, let's take the brothers to charge again. Kirito reached out and touched the hilt of the sword behind him, feeling the power in his body. Very powerful. Kirito was a little puzzled. This game can actually inherit the character data from the games I played before. Could it be that this game is also related to Sao? It seems that the next time I see Xiaoruo, I have to ask her face to face. Listening to the shouts around him, he probably understood the situation. It looks like he's going to fight just after being summoned. Kirito looked up at the yokai in the sky, and probably understood his job as a heroic spirit. Master, please give me instructions. Kirito was surprisingly honest. Since the heroic spirits in the game introduction are summoned by the master, following the master's instructions should be the main line of the game. According to the general game settings, complete the game. There should be a reward for the master's request. So Kirito didn't act immediately, but followed his master's opinion first. The player who summoned Kirito hasn't realized it yet. He is also the first time to become a master. No, it should be said that he is the first person to become a master except for the promotional film. There is no strategy for becoming a master before. If it was a normal mobile game, it would be fine to let the summoned heroic spirits attack, but right now there is no attack option on the AGMA interface. So the player scratched his head and tentatively ordered Kirito. Well, Mr. Kirito, please help me kill those two monsters in the sky. After all, it was a heroic spirit summoned with great difficulty, and the player's way of speaking and tone was quite polite. Got it, master. Hearing the instruction, Kirito turned and looked at the monster in the sky. His hand was already on the hilt of the sword. In the sky, the Thunder Beast brothers, who had been intimidated by the blue beam of light at first, had recovered, and there were even many more monsters around who were attracted by the summoning beam of light. Seeing the black-clothed swordsman who seemed to want to attack him, Thunder Beast Fishin couldn't help laughing. Ha ha ha, I thought it was something. It turned out that a group of weak humans summoned another human. Is that what you humans are capable of? Or, do you think you can deal with me with a small human body? Boy, with your figure, I feel that there is little meat when I take it to drink. Go ahead. Kirito was not irritated by Fishin, but still looked at him calmly, his black windbreaker swaying in the wind. Thunder Beast confronted Kirito. At this time, the barrage in the live broadcast room has gone crazy, and cloud players are watching the live broadcast while posting barrage. This kind of cross-world battle is the best to watch, and it is also the easiest to quarrel, because the combat effectiveness of different worlds is not easy to compare. But this time the barrage in the live broadcast room was surprisingly consistent. That is, everyone felt that Grandpa Tong was going to pretend. Even the barrage has already posted Thunder Beast Brothers Go All the Way. Audiences have watched the related animations in Inuyasha and Sword Art Online, so they naturally know who will win in the end. The Thunder Beast brothers are really good little bosses, but it's a pity that they met Kirito, the protagonist chosen by heaven. Not to mention anything else, at first glance, Kirito is calm, completely in the posture of the protagonist, while the Thunder Beast brothers are like cannon fodder supporting roles, no matter in their arrogant posture or lines. Even in different worlds, there are protagonists and supporting roles. The Thunder Beast brothers naturally didn't know that the audience in the live broadcast room had already begun to mourn for them. In their eyes, among human beings, there were only powerful priestesses and monks. Warriors were all food, and so was the swordsman in front of them. Brother Fishin, leave this human to me, Man Tian seemed eager to try. Humph, there's no need to waste time. Thunder Beast Fishin swung the Thunder Blade Spear at the black-clothed swordsman, as if preparing to finish off his opponent with one blow. Lightning Blade. A silver light flashed across the sky. Click. A bolt of lightning struck Kirito's position. The speed of the lightning was so fast that it arrived almost in the blink of an eye. It's just that Kirito's sword is faster, and he doesn't dodge or evade the lightning strike. With a single sword, the thunder light is cut into electric sparks. It seems that there are still fine lightning bolts floating in the air. Died like a fly. ZZ. As if to prove something, Kirito's sword was still flashing with lightning. Probably because of the game equipment, the sword did not conduct electricity to Kirito. How can it be? Thunder Beast Fishin's eyes widened, as if he hadn't expected such a result, but the next moment he blushed from anger. His own attack was actually cut off by humans. A mere human, dare to resist me, Master Flying Sky. Thunderbolt. This time, Fei Tian seemed to be serious. A large number of lightning bolts gathered on his thunder blade spear. Immediately, dozens of lightning bolts fell from the gun in his hand and hit the black-clothed swordsman directly below. However, facing the overwhelming thunder and lightning, the black-clothed swordsman still did not move, still so relaxed and comfortable. Afraid. Snapped. 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 The sword in Kirito's hand seemed to have a phantom. No matter how violent the lightning was, it could always be chopped into pieces before it hit him and dissipated in front of him. The sparks on Kirito's sword kept flickering, but there was no lightning that could hurt him. To him. The players who were watching the battle and the monsters who had just gathered were all stunned. Grandpa Tong is so handsome. It's the first time I saw Grandpa Tong pretending to be so cool. I've already fallen in love with him. Hee, it's on again. What? Is that a lie? Cut off the lightning, how could this human being do it? How could it be cut so quickly? After Kirito smashed all the thunder and lightning, his body was unscathed, and even his hairstyle did not change. Holding the long sword in his hand, he was still unrestrained, and his feet did not move half a point. Kirito looked at the thunder beast flying in the sky, and said calmly, "Your lightning skill is not the real lightning in the sky, it's too slow, and the speed is about the same as the bullet of an anti-material rifle. This kind of slow attack can't hurt me." Players present. Viewers watching the live broadcast. Although when I watched the animation, I felt that Kirito was very pretentious, but after Kirito was summoned, I realized that the animation was really conservative. I can break the dimensional wall. Author, Zhou Jumiao. Chapter 423. Tianbei City West. A large number of dark clouds gathered in the sky. Different from the demon clouds in the sky before, the black clouds here are thicker, exuding a terrifying thunderous aura, and a blue lightning flashed in the black clouds from time to time, as if God was angry, and there seemed to be burning fire in the air. Burnt smell. The thunder beast hangs in the sky in the middle of the dark clouds, pedaling on the Hot Wheels and holding the thunder blade gun, just like the god of thunder. And Kirito's long sword in black, pointing at the sky, is not weak at all. This scene, like a world-famous painting, was frantically screenshot by the players, and soon occupied the forum homepage, and the headlines were hotly searched, and the popularity of the original world increased a little. Because of the battle between Kirito and Thunder Beast brothers, the cloud viewers and players who were watching the live broadcast focused their attention here. After all, this is the first battle between the heroic spirit and the monster in the true sense, and it is also the standard for testing the strength of the heroic spirit. The monsters have been arrogant for so long, and the players have been suppressed for too long. At this time, a hero is needed, a victory to vent the unhappiness of being tortured by monsters during this period, and to ignite the players' expectations for the future. So whether it is the players present or the cloud players who sent the barrage, even the cloud viewers who have never watched Sword Art Online, everyone is cheering for Kirito. Kirito is now the hero of the players. The audience watching the live broadcast didn't realize that they no longer regarded the original world as a live game broadcast, but as a real world, a two-dimensional world that existed on the other side of Tianbei City. The barrage of the live broadcast is also crazily scrolling. If you don't adjust the transparency, you can't see the live broadcast at all. Kirito, come on. Grandpa Tong, come on. Kill these dead monsters and avenge us. Kirito's fans even began to swipe the screen, and some of the words of the second class were endlessly looped, and the whole screen was occupied by sword fans, which was very in line with the style of the cute station. While wielding a sword, there is also a spirit. I only recognize Kirito when wielding a sword. X100. When the black and white swords meet, at that moment, I promise to protect you forever and protect each other. XN. What the sword points to, is invincible. XN. Sioruo was also watching the battle, and even used the barrage in the live broadcast room. It's not because of anything else, the main reason is that Sioruo is also an old second gen, and he hasn't watched the show for a long time recently. Looking at the live broadcast and the full screen barrage, Sioruo also found the old fan chaser. Pleasure. No matter what kind of thoughts you have, watching such a passionate barrage will also arouse your emotions. Although he is the mastermind behind all the events, Sioruo also watched it with gusto. Obviously everything was the expected plot, but it was really attractive when it was broadcast. Moreover, Kirito's reputation rose much faster than he imagined. It's just a Kirito, and if Misaka Mikoto and Artoria are summoned in the future, I really can't imagine how much the barrage and popularity will grow. Sioruo didn't forget that when she was watching animation clips and character mad on a bullet screen website, how crazy the volume of bullet screens was when popular characters appeared. Especially Misaka Mikoto's character video, each clip is a bullet screen paradise. The clip Sioruo watched at the beginning even had hundreds of thousands of bullet screens. Just one video clip can gather so much power. If it is really summoned come out, that is definitely a massive prestige income. The bloody barrage matches the battle of the characters. It seems that this is the correct way for heroic spirits to get along with players. Bringing animated idols to reality. The scene in the west of the city. Thunder Beast Fishin saw that the black-clothed swordsman was unscathed under his attack, and he seemed unable to restrain the anger in his heart after being provoked. His hands were shaking with anger, but he calmed down quickly. Human, it seems that you are not as weak as I thought, but you must die today. No one can live to the next day in the hands of my uncle. Click. There was a sudden burst of thunder in the sky. The Hot Wheels under Fishin's feet burst into flames, and Fishin actually charged down with a Thunderblade gun in his hand. It seemed that lightning strikes were useless, and he was going to fight Kirito hand to hand, but he didn't know what decision he had made. In a melee battle with Kirito, a random audience member in the barrage would not make such a choice. Too slow. Kirito looked at Fishin who was galloping towards him, and dodged Fishin's attack with a slight sideways shift. Hateful. Fishin saw that his shot was missed, so he immediately followed up and continued to attack, but no matter how he swung the Thunderblade spear in his hand, he couldn't touch Kirito's clothes. Dodge their own attacks. Fishin's body is a monster thunder beast, good at thunder and lightning attacks, and the spear in his hand is simply swung vigorously. The marksmanship is chaotic, and it does not pose much threat to Kirito. And Kirito's speed is really too fast, and his evasive movements are easy, as if he is dancing, and he doesn't even draw a sword. Even the people watching the battle around could detect the gap between the two. The viewers who watched the live broadcast had already posted a barrage to celebrate, and champagne was opened at halftime. The Kirito of this period is the Kirito who has experienced the serial battle of the theatrical version. He has just beaten the 100th floor boss copy of Sao, and with all the game data of Sao, he is almost the peak strength, powerful and terrifying. Although the world of Swords and Swords is a game-based world, the level of danger of the boss in the game is not weaker than that of Inuyasha world. Therefore, Kirito, who is at the top of the game world, is considered a strong man among the heroic spirits. He is really overkill to deal with Fishin. It's time to end. After Kirito became familiar with the boss attack rhythm, he finally started to counterattack. He moved his feet and appeared in front of Fishin in the blink of an eye. He dodged the thunder gun sideways and split Fishin's body from bottom to top with a backhand sword. His perfect and silky swordsmanship was flawless, just like in previous boss battles. It was so clean and neat, and a line of blood slowly appeared in the middle of Fishin's body. There was still a look of shock in Fishin's eyes. Kirito originally thought that this game was the same as Sao. The boss had a lot of blood and was about to continue attacking, but he found that Fishin had stopped moving. After Fei Tian turned into a blue light and dissipated, Tong could react. In this game, Is the boss blood bar so thin? Kirito was a little surprised. He originally rated this boss as a 20th floor boss. It seems that the evaluation is lower now. The monsters who die in the original world will also turn into blue light and dissipate, because this is the rule of the original world. The moment they came to the original world, their bodies had already been digitalized. The original world is a game world created by Syaruo with the power of fantasy. Entering this world is equivalent to logging into this game, whether it is a heroic spirit or a monster, or the player is the same. Brother Fishin. Seeing that his brother was killed, the thunder beasts in the sky let out a mournful roar. You all have to be buried with my brother. A cloud of yellow lightning condensed in the thunder beast's big mouth, and it slammed into Kirito. Mantian's ability is to spray lightning from its mouth, and even the lightning in its mouth is stronger than his brother. Kirito had to dodge. Mantian is riding black clouds in the sky. Kirito has nothing to do with Mantian in the sky. The long-range monsters that can fly are really difficult to deal with. If only I could fly. When Kirito just had this thought in his mind, 4 black elf wings actually appeared behind him, and these 4 wings seemed to be part of his body. The original game actually has Aloe's character data, and the 2 character data can be superimposed. Kirito was really shocked this time. He hadn't heard that the new game can superimpose the old game's attributes. But now is not the time to think about these things. After having wings, Kirito has the ability to fly, and he turned into a black light, following the yellow thunder and lightning in the sky, heading towards him. The black light cut through the thunder and lightning with a sword, and Kirito's figure appeared in the sky instantly. In just a short moment, he even took the thunder and lightning with Mantian with the same sword. Monsters, thunder, and lightning, cut off together. There are still yellowish electric sparks and the sound of zizzing in the sky. It's over. The dark clouds in the sky dissipated a little, and the west of the city actually had sunshine. Kirito ended the battle cleanly, which really gave the players a sigh of relief, and the players in the original world really needed such a happy victory. At the moment the battle ended, the barrage went crazy. Grandpa Tong is handsome. When the black and white swords meet, at that moment, I promise to protect you forever and protect each other. XN. What the sword points to, is invincible. XN. The densely packed barrage frantically swiped the screen, and the live broadcast room unexpectedly ushered in a carnival of barrage. The barrage is hot-blooded, and the battle is also hot-blooded. Kirito's handsome ending combined with the full-screen barrage of the live broadcast, this moment is definitely memorable, and the audience watching the live broadcast were all excited. This battle is as if the audience is cheering on Kirito through the screen, and they also have their own participation. This kind of wonderful feeling is different from sending barrage in animation clips. Syaruo is also very satisfied with Tongren's first show. This time it is not a promotional film, nor is it a script that has been arranged. After this battle is over, his reputation should be able to recover a little. It's just that seeing Kirito pretending to be handsome in front of so many audiences, the screen is full of bullet screens such as the point of the sword is invincible, there is a god who wields a knife, I only recognize Kirito when I dance a sword. Syaruo also has some ideas. In Syaruo's opinion, if you only talk about swordsmanship, you must be powerful and handsome. Your watercall special effects swordsmanship must be more handsome than Kirito's swordsmanship without special effects, but I always feel that I am not as popular as Kirito. Syaruo suddenly had an idea, and entered Syaruo in the search bar of Mo Station, wanting to find her own animation clips and see if anyone has posted bullet screens for her. Syaruo feels that the popularity of his fan animations that travel through multiple worlds may not be as popular as that of highly popular characters, but there must still be fans who make videos for himself. Sure enough, among the first videos found in the search, Syaruo found her personal clips of animation characters. Although there are not many, there are still some. The title is also great. Full Burn. Relationship Syaruo, Draw your sword and fight for whom? Stepping on the spot / shaking legs / visual feast. Syaruo's full, gong, real, guan, life. If the dog is the queen of 10,000 females. Syaruo's harem group. Ruigo CP inventory. In those years, the girl who was treated like a dog. Syaruo. Syaruo resolutely ignored some weird titles, and clicked on the first battle clip with a full-time high-burning label. I haven't noticed it before, and there are fans who make battle clips for themselves. Watching other people's fight clips is definitely a different feeling than watching your own. Syaruo immediately followed this up, and decided to send him a private post later. Do rewards. After clicking on the video, it was indeed some battle scenes from his past. There are tree-slashing monsters in the world of Inuyasha, as well as Granny Zhantang in the world of Spirited Away, ghost-slaying ghosts in the world of Demon Slayer, Blade, etc., combined with the high-burning BGM, the location is just right. If the full score is if it is 10 points, Syaruo can at least score 9 points, not worse than Tongren at all. Really handsome. Syaruo couldn't help but open the barrage. If the dog. After watching the barrage for about 20 seconds, Syaruo chose to close the barrage. Syaruo silently turned off the computer, and he decided not to watch the barrage when watching his own video clips in the future. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I can break the dimensional wall. Author, Zhou Jumiao. Chapter 424. Tianbei City West. Near the shelter where the player was crushed. After Brother Thunder Beast's death, the dark clouds here dissipated a lot, and it became the only place in Tianbei City where the sun can be seen. After Kirito dealt with the Thunder Beast brothers, he also dealt with the remaining monsters who hadn't escaped amidst the cheers of the crowd. Except for Brother Thunder Beast, most of the other monsters around are miscellaneous fish. Kirito almost killed one of them with his sword. Kirito wiped out the seemingly large number of monsters in a few minutes, and completely solved the monsters in this area west of the city. A safe zone has been established. Of course, during this period, the enthusiastic players waved and greeted Kirito desperately, and there were some who wanted to sign autographs. The enthusiasm was more terrifying than monsters. Kirito was so scared that he flew to a tall building, and he breathed a sigh of relief. Seeing that there were no monsters or players around, Kirito finally had free time to check his attribute panel. I just defeated a character who looked like a small boss. According to the usual routine of the game, there should be rewards. He entered the original game entirely because of Sinan's recommendation, and the weird contract model that appeared in the real world before. The mysterious power that appeared in the real world cannot be explained by science at all. It is precisely because science cannot explain it that he became curious about this mysterious game, but he did not know much about the specific gameplay and background of the game. The only information I know is that I was summoned as a heroic spirit to fulfill the command of the master, but I heard Sinan said that in this game, players can obtain unimaginable benefits. What are the unimaginable benefits? Kirito began to check his game personal interface to see what rewards he got for killing the boss. In the original game, he appeared as a heroic spirit, but the interface of the attribute panel is very simple, and killing monsters does not increase the experience value. There is only one heroic spirit mall and reputation point that he cares more about. Kirito of the heroic spirit mall naturally understands what it means. There are malls in online games, but the reputation confuses him. When he spawns monsters, there is no reminder to obtain experience points. Could it be that the role panel of heroic spirit has changed experience to reputation? For heroic spirit, reputation is experience. The settings of different games are always varied. Kirito glanced at it, and his reputation has now reached 1,200 and is still rising. In fact, Most of Kirito's reputation has been deducted by Syaruo, about 70%. A lot of prestige is left to him, but this is also the initial benefit. If there are more heroic spirits in the later stage, it will be difficult to improve the reputation. Kirito continued to check the personal interface, saw that there was no other important information, and then opened the heroic spirit mall. However, after seeing the items and introductions in the heroic spirit mall, Kirito's calm expression also showed a hint of shock. Just the first item sold in the mall, Kirito could not calm down. Mysterious resurrection magic, 50,000 reputation, no corpse. Introduction: returning from the dead, the ultimate magic technique, the power to transcend life and death, ignoring the rules, can realize all fantasy magic, as long as you have the name of the dead person, even if there is no body. The mysterious resurrection magic technique can make you cherish it. People return to your side. Perfect magic side effects, none. Resurrection time, none. Note: all exchange items in the Heroes Mall can be used in the world where heroes live. What does it mean that it can be used in the world where heroic spirits live? Can it be used in the real world? Kirito understood the remarks given by the mall, so he was shocked. For him, the world he lives in is the real world. As for resurrecting the dead, Kirito couldn't ignore it. In Sao, Kirito experienced several life and death. At that time, too many players died in the Sao game. Among them, the death of the Black Cat group and Yuki has always been the thing Kirito regrets the most, and it is also the sadness that cannot be erased in his heart. Unexpectedly, now in this mysterious game, I actually saw a method that can bring human beings back to life. The original game seems to have given Kirito a chance to make up for the missed opportunity. Could it be, this is the unimaginable benefit Sinan said? Kirito seemed to recall what Sinan said to himself and Asuna in the coffee shop, and Sinan's serious expression. Looking at the items in the mall, Kirito suddenly had a glimmer of expectation. The original world game is even more mysterious than Kirito imagined. Although he thinks that resurrecting the dead is too outrageous, but as long as there is a glimmer of hope, Kirito will give up. The only thing that surprises Kirito is that this kind of magic that can resurrect the dead only sells for 50,000 prestige. 50,000 prestige? It's too cheap. For a game tycoon like Kirito, who is both passionate and skilled, 50,000 prestige is really not a lot after all. He just came here today and earned more than 1,000 prestige. According to this calculation, the price of a magic spell is even a piece of magic equipment. None of them count. At this speed, it is not possible to revive a person in a month. And if it is an important person, let alone 50,000, it is 500,000, 5 million, it doesn't matter to those people, because it gives them a hope of resurrecting the important person. Of course, Tongren didn't know that this was already the result of Syaruo's price increase. According to Syaruo's own estimation, the fantasy power consumed to revive a dead person without a corpse is about 30,000 reputation, and he has raised the price enough. However, just when Kirito was full of confidence and was about to work hard to resurrect his friends in the liver world, he saw an item under the resurrection magic, and then he couldn't hold back anymore. Ghost Girl Lidao's resurrection technique, 500 reputation, corpse or ashes are required. Introduction: the clay sculpture resurrection technique of Lidao, a powerful monster and ghost girl, turns decay into a magical sorcery. As long as there are corpses and ashes, the dead can be brought back from the underworld, and the dead can be resurrected with clay sculptures. It is simple, convenient, economical, and affordable. It is strongly recommended that the appearance and bodily functions of the person remain the same as before death. Side effects: the essence of the resurrected body is a terracotta figurine, which can be exchanged for a flesh body by providing 1,000 prestige. Resurrection time, 1 day. Kirito. Compared with the 50,000 prestige just now, the price of this 500 prestige is so eye-catching. Kirito suddenly wants to go offline to try whether the resurrection of this game is real. Of course, there are more than that in the mall. Short limb rebirth, 100 reputation. Introduce : disease recovery, 1-200 prestige, depending on the severity of the disease. Introduce : forever youth, 10,000 reputation. Introduce : increased lifespan, 100 prestige/1 year. Introduce : the Mall of Heroic Spirits is different from the Mall of Players. When Syaruo designed the original realm, she knew that heroic spirits could not be won over only by their own affection and contract. If they want to complete a truly powerful hall of heroes that spans the heavens and worlds, they must have sufficient benefits and rewards. Only when there are benefits, heroes from different worlds will willingly become a member of the Hall of Valor, driven by Syaruo. The more heroic spirits, the more prestige, the richer the mall, and the stronger your own fantasy power. This is a virtuous cycle in the original world, so although Syaruo has drawn most of the commissions in the Hall of Valor, but the things in the mall it is indeed more conscientious. As long as the heroic spirit is summoned and does not touch the fish, and shows off a little, he can buy what he wants and realize his wish. In fact, Syaruo could exploit it even more ruthlessly. Just by reviving this bug ability, the heroic spirits could work hard every day to earn prestige for themselves in order to revive important people, but Syaruo didn't do it. When Syaruo founded the Fantasy Hall of Valor, he never thought of using this thing to enslave heroic spirits and conquer all worlds. Let the players summon heroic spirits to their heart's content, let the heroic spirits gain prestige and revive the people they care about, everyone can reap happiness, and earn a little more prestige for themselves. It seems that this kind of original world is what Syaruo wants to see. Just as Syaruo thought, when Kirito saw the prices of heroic spirits merchandise, he thought for a moment that he was dreaming. I have just played this game for less than an hour, and now the reputation I have gained can already revive dead friends, and I can resurrect 2 of them. Is this reasonable? Or the gods started to do charity, just happened to meet me? Kirito couldn't wait to test whether the effect of reputation was so magical, so Kirito chose to go offline, and the body of the heroic spirit also dissipated in the original world. Of course, Kirito disappeared, but more heroic spirits were summoned. Around Tianbei City, beams of summoning light appeared one after another. I can break the dimensional wall. Author, Zhou Jumiao. Chapter 425. With the appearance of Kirito, heroic spirits began to be summoned one by one. The blue light summoned by the heroic spirit appeared all around Tianbei City. Asuna, Sinan, Sugiha, Klein, these heroic spirits came out of the heroic spirit summoning circle one by one. Most of the heroic spirits summoned in the first wave came from Sword Art Online. Maybe it was really a wise choice for Syaruo to choose Sinan in the first place. Most of the gamers in the same circle as Kirito Shino are high players who are not weak, and there are quite a few of them. Under the effect of the mysterious contract, most of them they all chose to enter the original world. The players in the world of Sword Art Online should be the most heroic spirits in the Fantasy Hall of Valor. Sinan is because she trusts Syaruo, and the rest of Sword World players are because they trust Sinan. They were summoned with the attributes and abilities of the game characters, which was indeed a great help to the human camp in the original world. The sky is shrouded in dark clouds, and there are countless monsters hidden in the dark clouds, and the light emitted by the summoning array is like a signal lighthouse, attracting the attacks of countless monsters, and some weaker refuge barriers are directly smashed by a large number of monsters. Heroic spirits must fight to the death to protect humans. Every joint attack of the monster group is like an ocean composed of monsters. The endless number, coupled with the huge size of the monsters, is full of oppression. Even though they knew that they would not die, the players were still unable to move because of this strong sense of oppression while watching this scene. It may be that the game is too real, the players even feel that when the monster sea rushes over, there is a feeling of doomsday, as if they are really in troubled times. Desperate, powerless. However, under such an impact, the figure of a strong and ruthless girl in white was actually nailed to the forefront of the human camp. The figure is weak, but powerful. Her sword is very fast, and the monsters approaching her are almost dead before they can react. She was like a rock in a huge wave. She blocked the impact of the sea of monsters by herself, and wherever the white sword light passed, the monsters turned into fragments of blue light. Even the endless sea of monsters still couldn't catch her. The thin figure swallowed. Vice head of the Knights of the Blood Alliance. Asuna. With a delicate and calm face, wearing a white night skirt and a white cloak behind her, Asuna is like a goddess of war, becoming the guardian of mankind. Horizontal square cut. A fierce sword energy swept across the surrounding area, and the dozen or so monsters near Asuna instantly turned into blue light. Without the presence of boss-level monsters, Asuna was like a white god of death. With me here, you don't want to take another step forward. Looking at all kinds of ugly and evil monsters in front of her, Asuna didn't show any flinching in her eyes. When she entered the game and clenched the familiar longsword in her hand, she seemed to have returned to the time when she was in Sao, as the deputy of the Blood Knights. Heads moment. As soon as she entered the game, she was just summoned and encountered such a desperate situation, but she couldn't contact Kirito. She was a little flustered. After learning about the current situation of the world and the crisis of the master, Asuna he calmed down instantly, and chose to draw his sword to block the front of the group of monsters. Asuna herself is not a weak girl. Maybe she has become gentler after staying with Kirito for a long time, but she is still the cold female swordsman she used to be. Even if it is not the setting of heroic spirit, she will still stand up. Maybe this is her character. As the strong, it is imperative to protect the weak. Heroic spirits are fighting in front of them, and the summoners are doing their best to cheer. There are too many monsters, and the barrier has been broken. The players present thought they had to wait for the resurrection CD, but a lucky one actually summoned a heroic spirit, causing they survived. Asuna. Sister Asuna is so strong. Damn it, Sister Asuna, be careful. Be careful. Come on. Wife, be careful. Protect my master. When Asuna was fighting, she still didn't forget to summon her master, but there were too many monsters. Just now, in order to protect the master, she handed over her master to the rest of the players. Sister Asuna, don't worry, your master has been protected by us. The players formed a human wall to protect the player who summoned Asuna in the center, so that even if a monster that slipped through the net appeared, the player on the side would die first. After all, it was Asuna's task for them, and the players were earnestly completing it. And the players who were protected in the center, who were already happy at this time, were about to pass out. Summoning Asuna, the pinnacle of life, was nothing more than that. After the players were rescued by Asuna, they were really grateful to Asuna. They should have died, but were rescued by a hero who suddenly appeared, and a strange emotion emerged in the hearts of the players. Animated characters appearing in front of you are completely different from seeing them in animation. On the internet, some people dare to call Asuna's nickname Benzina or something, but when Asuna really appeared in front of her, the players changed her name again and became Sister Asuna, and her tone of voice was also a bit different. One is respectful and polite, wishing to become a dog licking. Asuna can do whatever she asks. Such a real performance shows that even though the players know that this is a game, they don't regard the heroic spirit as a virtual character, but as a real person. However, unlike Kirito, players watch Kirito fight because of how Kirito pretends to be aggressive. After all, he has the halo of the protagonist. But when a weak-looking woman like Asuna was besieged by monsters, the audience was still very worried. The monsters were vicious, and the players on the side were afraid that Asuna would be torn apart by the monsters in the next moment. And the situation on the scene is indeed not optimistic. There are too many monsters, and it seems that there are still many powerful monsters hiding among them. Suddenly, there was a gunshot in the distance. Boom! After a gunshot, a lizard monster that was about to attack Asuna was pierced with a big hole in its chest. Boom, boom, boom. After several shots in succession, several powerful monsters were headshot. Asuna also felt the weakening of the surrounding pressure, and looked towards the place where the shots were fired. Even though it was hard to see who it was after a few blocks, Asuna still felt a sense of familiarity. On a tall building about 800 meters away, Sinan was aiming with a sniper rifle, and there seemed to be green smoke from the muzzle of her gun. It seemed that it was Asuna she supported just now. Beside Sinan, there was a long-haired girl who looked about 17 or 18 years old leaning against the wall. This girl was wearing a strange black leather jacket and black leather skirt, with a black hat on her head. The heroic spirits are different, they seem to be ordinary players in the original world. "How is it, Sister Shino? The place I'm looking for is not bad," the leather-clothed girl asked happily. "Master, the place you are looking for is really good," Sinan praised, then changed a pair of magazines, and continued to support Asuna who was fighting in the distance. "Hee, I told you that Sister Asuna is dangerous there." The leather-clothed girl picked up her mobile phone, and the live broadcast of Asuna's battle was played on the mobile phone. It seemed that it was because of her guidance, Sinan only then did she have the opportunity to support Asuna. This girl is a lone wolf who is good at dogs, so she has not been discovered by monsters in the early stage. When Sinan was summoned, there were no monsters around, so she was able to be alone with the heroic spirit she summoned. What she didn't expect was that the summoned two-dimensional heroic spirit was really just like in the animation, not only had a good personality, but everything seemed to be a replica of the two-dimensional hero. I can break the dimensional wall. Author, Zhou Jumiao. Chapter 426. With Sinan's support, Asuna's pressure was much less. Because the monsters did not have the support of powerful monsters, it was only a matter of time before Asuna and Shino could deal with these miscellaneous fish monsters. The attributes of the game characters in Sword World are really strong. Even if the sword players in the strategy group are not considered SSR, they are still considered good cards. At least the miscellaneous fish monsters cannot be opponents of sword players. However, although miscellaneous fish monsters are easy to clean up, really powerful monsters are not so easy to deal with. The royal bird princess of the fire country, Ajiji, led her demon bird army from the city center, and swept through the barrier shelters built by several players along the way. Within the field of vision of the monster bird army, there are almost no players who can escape. Even the most stubborn players will be chased and killed by the monster bird army all the way. Princess Aegon can be regarded as one of the few powerful banshees in Inuyasha. She is good at fire attacks and bird control, and likes to kill and slaughter cities. In the original work, she also caused a lot of trouble for the protagonist group. Black hair and red eyes, beautiful and cruel. Princess Aegon watched her subordinates slaughter humans with a cruel smile on her face. Although the humans in this world don't have blood, killing these humans can actually increase my strength. Ha ha ha, keep killing them, don't let anyone go, Princess Aegon ordered to the demon bird army under her. After hearing the order, the overwhelming monster birds frantically tore up everything they saw. Of course, only players from the original world can tear them apart. If it is an ordinary person without Ogma, these monster birds will only pass through like phantoms, but there are too many monster birds and the speed is too fast. Let them. If the killing continues like this, half of the shelters in Tianbei City may be slaughtered in one day. Soon, the killing of the monster bird army encountered obstacles. A blue light shot up into the sky, and the players in the refuge seemed to have summoned heroic spirits in a desperate situation. But it is a pity that the heroic spirit he summoned was just an ordinary player in the strategy group of Sword Art Online. After only 10 seconds of support in front of the monster bird, it was torn apart by the monster bird and quit the game. After the heroic spirit died, the players in the refuge were also slaughtered by the demon bird army. This heroic spirit can be regarded as the most unlucky heroic spirit. As soon as he appeared on the stage, he encountered a monster like Agriji. Princess Aegon also noticed the heroic spirit, but she just glanced at it and ignored it. Too weak. As weak as those monks and mages who wanted to kill her, such a weak human being made her have no desire to take action at all, and her children could solve it. Soon, the monster bird legion found another refuge. This refuge seemed to have more people than the previous ones. It was probably the second largest refuge under the Xiangyang refuge, but this one was more unlucky. With so many players, not a single heroic spirit came out. Fortunately, the more players there are, the more spells there will be, and the spell barriers posted outside are also more powerful. But the enchantment is not invincible. Under the impact of the monster bird army, the light outside keeps flickering, and it seems that it will be broken at any time. Once breached, all players in the shelter will be slaughtered. Looking at this scene, the players inside the barrier have already begun to breathe sweetly. Even though they knew they were going to die, the players still did not concede defeat verbally. The scolding together was really powerful, and Ariji couldn't stand being scolded. Every time Ariji massacred the city, those humans were either too scared to move, or ran away desperately, for fear that they would run too slowly. How can there be humans in this world who dare to scold themselves when they know their death is imminent? You low-level humans, after the enchantment is broken, I will make your death ugly. Princess Aegon clenched her fists fiercely, and in an instant, hundreds of monster birds in front of the barrier all ignited flames, and hit the barrier in a spontaneous combustion manner, and the flames of the monster bird's spontaneous combustion dyed the whole area red barrier. Under this kind of suicidal attack, the barrier of the sanctuary shrunk by a circle. Grass. This stinky bitch broke her defenses. The players looked at this scene. Instead of being afraid, they scolded even more fiercely. The barrier of the refuge became darker and darker under the impact of the monster bird army, but at the moment when the barrier was about to be shattered, an arrow suddenly appeared in the distance. The arrow carried a powerful demon-breaking power, and all the monster birds that hit the barrier were purified with one arrow. The magic-breaking power on this arrow, the familiar instant-killing arrow, the players couldn't be more familiar with. Whether it was the live broadcast or the live players, all became excited. Master Kikyo. It is the demon-destroying arrow of the nuclear bomb sword fairy Kikyo-sama. Is Master Shen going to shoot birds again? I have seen this scene. Funny. Classic reenactment, Master Shen kills evil with one arrow. Isn't this scene from the 150th episode of Inuyasha? The seriously injured Kikyo kills Ajiji with an arrow. How come we have become villagers' tricks? Riji, run quickly, be careful that Master Shen will kill you in seconds with an arrow. At the moment when the demon-breaking arrow was shot, the players seemed to have seen the end. Princess Aegon noticed the powerful spiritual power on the arrow just now, and turned her head to look in the direction of the arrow. Not far from here, a witch holding a longbow was standing there, as if the arrow just now an arrow was shot by her. Witch. Is she the strongest in this world? This priestess full of holy aura made Princess Aegon feel a little uneasy in her heart, but her arrogance as a monster did not allow her to shrink back when facing humans. Give it to me. With Princess Aegon's order, the monster birds that were still alive, even those that were still attacking the barrier, gathered together, and the overwhelming monster birds rushed towards the thin figure of the witch. Thousands of birds rushed together, and the flapping of their wings made the surrounding air seem to vibrate. The crushing of numbers is Princess Aegon's way of controlling birds. If the opponent does not have a large-scale attack method, they can only be slowly consumed to death by the monster bird army, or even weaker ones will die with a single charge. Pity. What she met was Kikyo. Just like the players said, the nuclear bomb sword fairy Kikyo is the strongest shrine maiden in the world of Inuyasha. Kikyo looked at the densely packed monster birds, and unhurriedly bent his bow and set his arrows, as if he had gone through it thousands of times, without any unnecessary movements. Shoot! Like a ray of light, Kikyo's demon-breaking arrow shot into the flock of monster birds. The magic breaking power on the arrow exploded directly, as if a sun had exploded, and a dazzling light came from the arrow. The strong light was so dazzling that Agricoli and the players couldn't help but close their eyes. After the light dissipated, when I looked again, the sky was clean, as if the tens of thousands of monster birds just now seemed to be hallucinations. In just an instant, tens of thousands of monster birds in the sky were purified by Kikyo's demon-breaking power, and the black clouds in the sky dissipated. How can it be? Princess Aegon couldn't help but roared out. The birds are all wiped out, bastard, what's going on, this witch? Princess Aji just recovered from the shock when she found that the witch took out an arrow again, and suddenly, a shadow of death enveloped Aji's whole body. You all wait for me. After Princess Ari took a hard look at Kikyo, a burst of flames burst out from under her feet, and the next moment, her whole body turned into a fast fireball and disappeared into the sky. Princess Ari escaped. Master Saint! Master Saint! Master Saint! After watching Ajiji escape, the players were all shouting the title of Saint. Sage Sama is the title given by Kikyo when he was seriously injured in the original work. At that time, Kikyo, who was seriously injured, used the identity of the Holy Sama to push back Agi with one arrow. Now in Tianbei City, this scene was repeated again. I don't know if it was a coincidence, or Kikyo did it on purpose. Kikyo glanced at the direction in which Araji disappeared, and put away her bow and arrow. In fact, she has been paying attention to the development of the original world all the time, but she has never made a move, but this Argentine is too arrogant, and the number of players killed is too many, so Kikyo has to intervene as a heroic spirit. Suddenly, Kikyo looked to the south, and in that direction, a blue beam of summoning array pierced into the sky. Unlike other heroic spirits who were summoned, Kikyo sensed a powerful force in this blue light, even she felt it was a terrifying force. Kikyo remembered that the Hyaki Bat clan and the leader of the Hyaki Bat clan, Daigo Kilmaru, seemed to be heading there. South of the city. It is different from other places in Tianbei City. Here, the ground is densely packed with corpses of monsters. The corpse of each monster seems to have been cut by countless sharp knives. There is still an expression of disbelief on the face of each monster. They are all of the bat family. The 100 Ghosts and Bats are a very famous and powerful group in the world of monsters. They are good at enchantment and sorcery. They are the most difficult group to kill. It is hard to imagine that so many people died here. Moreover, after the monster died, the corpse would turn into a blue light and dissipate after a while. So many corpses were placed together at the same time, indicating that they were killed together at the same time. Standing in the middle of the group of corpses was a girl with short pink hair, covering half of her eyes, and dressed in a black and white maid outfit. It's ugly. As the girl said, she waved her hand and threw the monster's head out of her hand. It was a very huge and ugly monster head. Gurgling. The head rolled a few times on the ground and finally stopped. How can it be? Even though the head was cut off, the owner of the huge head did not seem to be dead, and his tone was still full of disbelief. Daigo Kilmaru, will be defeated by a human girl. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I can break the dimensional wall. Author, Zhou Jumiao. Chapter 427. Since Ram came to the real world last time, Xiaoruo used the power of fantasy to restore his horns, and his strength has returned to its peak. For the Ghost Clan, the horns on the head are the foundation of strength, so Ram with horns and Ram without horns are completely two roles in terms of strength. The author of the original work also said that the horned ram is the strongest in the second echelon, and even Parker, the beast of the end, who can destroy the world, is not the horned ram's opponent. Control the strongest wind magic. Heroic spirits of the extermination level can be stopped. This is Ram today. Although it looks like a maid, the job she does is also a maid's job, but for Syaruo, the horned ram is the strongest hero on the throne of the heroic spirit in the Fantasy Hall of Valor, and the absolute strongest card at T0. Of course, it is only the strongest at present. Ram dressed in a maid outfit stood in the center of countless ghost corpses, and the corpses of the bats surrounding her also slowly turned into blue light and dissipated. Countless blue lights are floating around a lovely two-dimensional girl, all of which are like a dream. Ram standing in it is more like a holy elf than a maid, powerful and beautiful, but Ram is not pay attention to the beauty of this scene. All she cared about was Syaruo. Ram turned his head and looked around, trying to find Syaruo's figure. Because this is not the world of ReZero, the protection given by the world cannot be used. It is not difficult for Ram to use the protection of clairvoyance, so Ram just uses his eyes to look for the familiar figure. She knew that this strange world was the world Syaruo lived in. She had been here not long ago, and was taken by Syaruo to participate in the event with Lord Emilia, and also met Syaruo's family. Syaruo's family, they are all very good people. The experience was quite happy, and left good memories. Unfortunately, this time she came to this world again, Syaruo was not here. Ram didn't see that familiar figure. Her eyes slowly changed from anticipation to disappointment, and obvious emotional changes appeared on Ram's face. He's not here. Ram was a little disappointed that Syaruo was not found. Because of the heroic spirit contract, Syaruo should be able to know that he came to this world. Ram can guess that Syaruo must have known that he was coming, but he didn't come to see him because he was in his "Is it not important in your heart?" Or that he has something important to do. Thinking that he might not be very important to Syaruo, Lam felt a little uncomfortable in his heart. Ram didn't even notice that her current way of thinking was slowly developing in the direction of a girl in love. Although Ram used to be indifferent to her role, she has always been very concerned about the loss of her role, but this matter has always been hidden by Ram in her heart, so when Ram's role was restored by Syaruo, only then did Lam develop complicated feelings towards Syaruo, feeling that he owed Syaruo too much. Not to mention, Syaruo once helped herself and Ram so much, saved herself as a hero, and desperately helped Ram get rid of the curse. Although she did so many things, she didn't ask for anything in return. Ram couldn't tell what kind of emotion he had for Syaruo. Do you like it? Or something else? Lost when parting. Long time no see, will miss that guy. Every time I think of him, I always have an inexplicable feeling in my mind. Although it is strange, it is not very annoying. Ram also had some expectations when he came to this world in response to the summoner's prayer. Looking forward to meeting Syaruo again, chatting with him again, eating together again, and hearing him call himself Ramkin again. She is looking forward to coming to this world. Syaruo can greet herself on the other side of the summoning circle, and then because she hasn't seen her for a long time, she greets herself intimately, saying that she misses Ram very much. He would also find a reason to ridicule Syaruo, and then with a happy smile, he would look at Syaruo's face and see how happy he was when he saw himself. Thinking of what would happen after meeting Syaruo, the corners of Ram's mouth would twitch unconsciously. It seems, it was a dream that I dreamed of such a scene. Unfortunately, the picture in the dream did not come true after all. Next to Dejimru's head, which was thrown away like garbage, did not disappear. As a big monster, its vitality is much more tenacious than imagined. Even if there is only one head left, it still has strong vitality. Even after a long period of cultivation, it is not impossible to grow a new body. Powerful yokai no longer have a fatal weakness. At this time, Dejimuru stared at his big eyes that were bigger than basketballs, and stared at the girl in the strange dress. It didn't understand why the powerful barrier it had set up was torn apart so easily, why it was powerless to fight back in the hands of this girl, why this girl was so powerful, stronger than any monsters it had ever seen. Strong enough to make it tremble. Degamaru noticed that there was a mysterious unicorn on the girl's forehead. Half demon? Or is it a well-disguised big monster? But these are not important anymore. The girl suddenly relaxed her vigilance for some reason. She was clearly not completely dead yet, but the other party revealed her back and was still looking around, as if she was looking for someone. Looks defenseless. With such an innocent to stupid performance, Degamaru believes that this girl is just an ordinary human, or a half-demon born of a stupid monster and a human. Die. Dejimaru's head suddenly popped up without any warning, and rushed towards the back of Ram with a speed as fast as a shooting star. It opened its mouth wide, as if it wanted to swallow Ram's thin body in one gulp. Careful! The master who summoned Ram couldn't help shouting. Swipe swipe! Before Degamaru's head touched Ram, it had already been cut into pieces by the wind blade. After being torn into pieces by the wind blade, Degamaru died completely and turned into a blue light, and the dead couldn't die anymore. Ram waved his hand casually, as if cleaning up a piece of garbage. Although Ram was distracted just now, the difference in strength is too great. Even if Dejiwin is not seriously injured, the sneak attack on Lost Ram may not be successful. Seeing another monster gathering nearby, Ram's bangs were swayed by the breeze. Just a wave. Thousands of monsters who just came here to support were emptied again. The audience and players watching the live broadcast were all stunned, and Ram's invincible posture completely conquered the audience present. For the heroic spirit, it must be stronger and better. The combat power that Ram has shown is stronger than any heroic spirit that has appeared today, and it is not even weaker than Kikyo, who has always been in the limelight before. Powerful and beautiful. Almost no one would dislike a heroic spirit with such a label, let alone the gentle and kind-made Ram. In ReZero, Ram has fewer fans than Rem. The barrage has already begun to scan his wife, and there is also a barrage to support Ram. Call. Seeing that Ram was fine, the master who summoned Ram was relieved. Most of the first batch of Ogmas were young people. The master who summoned Ram was also a boy who looked 18 or 19 years old. He didn't expect that he would actually summon such a powerful heroic spirit as Ram. This player checked the setting collection on the official website before playing the original world, and he has some understanding of the setting of heroic Ram. The second echelon in ReZero is the strongest. The setting set is very brief, why Syaruo will help Ram restore the character, and how to restore it, I have skipped it, saying that I will use fan works to make up the setting in the future, but looking at it now, the setting set really has nothing to do. Exaggerate. The horned Ramkyang is ridiculously good. This master player is already thinking that he will sweep the world with Ram. Just when he was happy, Ram also turned to look at him because of his reminder just now, and walked towards him. Master. Ram's voice is crisp and pleasant, exactly the same as the voice of the character in the animation. Just hearing Ram's voice, the master is already excited. Here it is, dear Ram. Ram looked at his master and asked the question he wanted to ask. Master, do you know Syaruo? Click. This master seems to feel that he is split. He didn't expect that the first sentence he summoned to him was not Master, are you injured? Master, please give instructions, my sword will coexist with you, but to him. Ask another man himself. Because it was a live broadcast, the barrage paused for a moment because of Ram's words. Then it became a screen full of. It seems that he can't accept Ram's problem. Why did Ram ask Syaruo, did she have an affair with Ruigo? A scumbag is like a dog, I just want to ask how many 2D goddesses Ruigo has been a scumbag, idiot. The goddess you like already likes someone else. If the dog does not die, the law of heaven will not tolerate it. The barrage audience seems to have started another round of criticism of Syaruo. In front of Ram's master also squeezed out an awkward smile on his face at this time. If you are a dog, who doesn't know him? I posted a comment to scold him last night. Of course, this is what the master thought. It's impossible to say that the animation character he likes is standing in front of him. The real feeling of face-to-face prevents him from being the free and comfortable keyboard warrior he used to be on the internet, and he is even a little cautious. At this time, he is like an innocent boy who is face-to-face with the goddess. I know, of course I know Syaruo, the young master replied with a smile on his face, but he didn't know what kind of mood was behind his smile. Really? Hearing what he said, Ram's eyes lit up and he looked even cuter. Great, where is he? Or, can you take me to see him? He didn't come to pick me up. Ram's master. Barrage audience. Is this some kind of hidden mission? I can break the dimensional wall. Author, Zhou Jumiao. Chapter 428. After Kirito Asuna and Ram and other powerful heroic spirits were summoned, the crisis in Tianbei City eased. Although there are still many monsters, humans are not without resistance. Heroic spirits, players, monsters, and the three forces are all developing as Syaruo planned. With the help of the heroic spirits, the master who summoned the heroic spirits successfully established a safety zone. There are not many heroic spirits, so the safety zone is not very large. It is still very dangerous outside the safe zone, but in the safe zone, at least you don't have to worry about being eaten by monsters at will. Tianbei City is more and more like an alien game. Tianbei City, Xiangyang Hotel. As the first and largest sanctuary for human beings, there are still countless monsters around here, but because there are a lot of players, there are a lot of Krypton Gold players, and the strength of all spell barriers is also the strongest in Tianbei City. However, what is more unfortunate here is that although there are a large number of players, not a single heroic spirit has been summoned. Some players even posted secretly, saying that the feng shui here is not good. Fortunately, the barrier is thick enough, monsters can't get in, and the countless miscellaneous fish and monsters around can only surround the barrier and be incapable of fury. Their impact can't even shake the barrier. Among the countless monsters, a black-clothed, black-haired female monster with a voluptuous figure floated in the front. Really boring. Nifajolo looked at the extremely deep barrier under her feet, and couldn't help but yelled. She lay on the invisible bed with her hair woven, and changed her position. After changing the posture, countless snow-white benefits were exposed on Nifajolo's body, and the players below took another crazy screenshot. Nifajolo and Wang Jings have been guarding here for a long time, but the human beings in the turtle shell just can't come out, and Nifajolo has nothing to do with these people. A barrier of this thickness, even if a big monster came, it would probably be very difficult. Reverse Hair Jolo is not the kind of big monster with powerful attack power. Her attack method is single, and her hair magic is also partial functional support. Therefore, facing this turtle shell enchantment, she only uses her hair to surround the entire Xiangyang Hotel. Up. All players from the original world who entered and exited would be swallowed by her invisible hair. This method of siege completely turns Xiangyang Refuge into a place of death. Kill slowly, she is not in a hurry. However, Wang Jings, who was next to Nifajolo, seemed a little anxious. Master Jolo, the human camp has summoned a lot of heroic spirits now. Let's run away. Surrounding here is not an option. If someone here summons a heroic spirit, we will be finished, Wang Jing said with a treacherous face on his face. What I saw from the live broadcast told Reverse Hair Jolo. Heroic spirit, what is that? Nifajolo looked at Wang Jing's curiously. She still has a good impression of this human being. Heroic spirits are the strong men summoned by the players. They are all very powerful. The Thunder Beast brothers, Deyuan and Ajiji were all killed by the heroic spirits, Wang Jings tried to explain. The strong. Nifajologo frowned. She was also aware of her own strength. She was not a powerful monster. If there was a strong one, then she was definitely not the opponent. Now that he has been surrounded for a long time, Nifajologo also has the idea of retreating. Just when Nifajologo was tangling whether to retreat, the enchantment of Xiangyang Sanctuary also lit up with the light of the heroic spirit. Inside the refuge, countless exclamations came, and even the monsters surrounded outside were frightened by these bursts of exclamations. Heroic spirit is out? Whoever produced the heroic spirit? Who produced the heroic spirit? Who did Tai Chi? We finally have heroic spirits in our sanctuary. It's not easy. Goblin monsters, wait for me. They have surrounded me for so long. After a while, all the miscellaneous fish monsters will be killed, and Nifajologo will stay behind. Guojing in the Xiangyang refuge saw the blue light of the summoning array, and his face was not very good looking. He had smoked hundreds of times, but nothing came out, and the players in the hotel had not been able to produce heroic spirits. He almost began to doubt whether it was his own or not. The hotel is really bad. Call. Guojing breathed out, although he didn't summon it himself, it's good to ship it. Otherwise, with a bad feng shui label on his back, no one will come to his hotel in the future, and the popularity that has finally gathered cannot just dissipate like this. Let's see what kind of heroic spirit it is now. If it's just a heroic spirit of miscellaneous fish, it can't save the current situation. However, it seems that powerful heroic spirits have appeared in other places. Following the blue light, Guojing's followers surrounded him, wanting to see who summoned the heroic spirit. As a result, they heard a very embarrassing voice. Ha ha ha, I'm dying of laughter. Of course, I summoned the heroic spirit. Apart from me, are the rest of you here worthy? Dressed in a sun's attire and holding a folding fan, the Matsuyama little fox stood up. Because he summoned a heroic spirit, the smile on his face was like a blooming chrysanthemum, and he flung the folding fan coquettishly, gently fanned it a few times. It's just that his actions and voice are not literati, but like a villain who is successful. The arrogant look made the fists of the surrounding players harden. Beside him, Yu Hua, who was wearing a warrior costume, stepped back a few steps, as if he wanted to draw a line with his little friend in secondary school. Even if the original world is a two-dimensional world, it is still half offline. Is it really good to be in the second class? Are you not afraid of being beaten? Of course, Yu Hua must be envious when he sees his friends summoning a heroic spirit. The probability of summoning a heroic spirit is almost 1 in 10,000. Those who can be summoned are all the chosen ones. A group of supporting actors. Let's take a good look at what is the real protagonist and what is the chosen one. The blue light of the heroic spirit summoning circle became brighter and brighter, and the little fox in Songshan began to fall ill again, and the level of the second disease was full. There was a snap. The little fox Songshan flicked the fan, and the tip of the fan pointed at the center of the summoning circle, as if communicating with the heroic spirits in the summoning circle. Everyone has thought that they are the chosen one and the protagonist of the world, but as they get older and time goes by, they will eventually find that they are one of countless ordinary people. Ordinary and ordinary. But at this moment, little fox Songshan felt it, the feeling he had when he was in the second grade of junior high school. The feeling of sublimation of the soul. I am the protagonist. Heroic spirits of the Hall of Valor, obey my call. Come out, strongest heroic spirit. As if they had cooperated well, the moment his voice fell, the light of the summoning array reached its brightest, and the strong light made many onlookers close their eyes. I always feel that the light of the heroic spirit summoning circle this time is a bit brighter than the light of Kirito and Ram's appearance in the live broadcast. Some people even felt the vibration of the ground, as if there were some terrible beasts it's like climbing out of the summoning circle. What a bright light! This momentum, damn it, something is wrong, it's about to launch an SSR. This kid is going to pretend to be successful, what the hell is he summoning? It doesn't look like the special effect of the beautiful girl heroic spirit appearing on the stage. The players around were already dumbfounded. Every time a heroic spirit appeared on the scene, it was a visual feast. No way, the special effects of heroic spirit's appearance are indeed powerful, but unfortunately there is no BGM, but no one cares about it. After the light reached its peak, it slowly faded, and the huge beam of light rapidly decayed and finally dissipated. The players held their breath, and even the players who liked to complain stopped talking, and set their eyes on the center of the summoning array. I want to see which character came here. Every time a heroic spirit is summoned, it is like a lottery. Soon, all the light in the summoning circle dissipated, leaving only a small, furry figure. Meow. A lazy and dazed meow echoed in this quiet space. I can break the dimensional wall. Author, Zhou Meow. Chapter 429. After the blue light of the summoning circle dissipated, what appeared in the middle of the summoning circle was a blue kitten with a two-dimensional image. The kitten didn't seem to wake up, its body looked thin, but its fur was very soft, and it seemed that its usual living conditions were not bad. Just after being summoned, the little cat didn't understand what was going on, and rubbed its eyes with its little paw in a very humane manner. After seeing such a large group of people around, the little cat seemed to be taken aback. Immediately afterwards, the kitten stood up on two legs like a human. Surrounding players. Seeing the figure of the summoned cat, the air seemed to stagnate for a moment. Although the one who came out of the summoning circle was not a two-dimensional beautiful girl, nor a heroic spirit with explosive combat power, it was just a blue cat, but the players present were not disappointed at all, but became excited one by one. It seems that this blue cat is more attractive than the two-dimensional beautiful girl. Even the barrage of the live broadcast here is Bengview. Damn it, Tom Cat. Tom is actually a heroic spirit. God, can all the characters in Rising Animation really be summoned? Funny characters fighting monsters, that's not invincible. Invincible, I won't change it for a beautiful maid and girl. Tom's religion is number one in the world. There is Tom first, then there is heaven, and after that, there is a fairy. I can actually see the real Tom. Grass, the heroic spirit project is really amazing. When will the game of the original world be tested in the Magic City? I want to play it too. Watching the live broadcast has made my blood boil. I must play this game. That's right, when will there be an original world in the Demon City? Tianbei City is all themed with Inuyasha monsters. I don't know what type of city we are. Maybe each city has a different theme. Playing big chess, Rise has been playing big chess, Ruigo's fellow crossing is also the same, thinking about it is about to die, maybe the future will be full of two-dimensional. The barrage is crazy, and the scene is even crazier. The players present surrounded Tomcat in the middle, just like a fan meeting of a celebrity. A group of fans with shining stars surrounded their idols in the middle. Tom. 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 Let me touch it, just touch it. Facing so many crazy fans, Tom was taken aback. With a push of his hind legs, he jumped to the ceiling in an instant, and grabbed the chandelier on the ceiling with his little claws. No way, the fans are so crazy. Even Tom was a little scared. The eyes of the humans below were all emitting green light. If he fell, he might be eaten by these people. Calm down, everyone. Look at how you look. I know everyone is very excited, but your drooling frightens Tom. What if Tom runs away in a while? Seeing that the situation was about to get out of control, Guojing, the lord of this place, hurriedly appeased the impulsive players, and managed to stabilize the situation. After all, it was considered half offline, and with the previous solidarity and cooperation, the players calmed down quickly, and slowly controlled their excitement, and the noise around them became quieter. After a while of communication between the master Matsuyama Little Fox and Guojing, Tom finally stopped being afraid and jumped off the chandelier. Because of the reason set by Tom himself, although it is an omnipotent and invincible kitten, Tom has always respected human beings. The status of cats is not as good as that of humans. This is the background setting of the worldview of Tom and Jerry. Even though Tom left that world, Tom's respect for humans has not changed. Therefore, Tom will still obey some less serious human orders. Subconsciously obey. Meow. Tom, come on, the master is here. After Tom came down, he was hugged by the little fox Matsuyama. Tom sensed that this human being had a contract with it, so he was closest to this human being and did not resist him. Compared with other heroic spirits, Tomcat is not weak, and he is also the one who speaks the best. Even if he is held in the arms of the master, Tomcat does not have any special resistance, or it has long been used to it. In the past, the owner often used it to pick up girls, which caused Tomcat to feel that it was quite normal for his body to be masturbated by humans. Meow. Seeing Tom being masturbated by that kid, some players' eyes turned red with envy. This is not an ordinary cat, but Tom, the second-dimensional god cat. Tom. This is a cat that crosses dimensions. Summoned Tom, what kind of shit luck is this kid? Could it be said that this kid sucked all the luck of everyone in the Xiangyang Hotel? Ah! The corner of Matsuyama Little Fox's mouth was almost grinning to the base of his ears. After scanning the envious players around him, he put Tom on his shoulder. Heroic spirits were summoned, and only then did I, the master, feel real. Any master is the protagonist of Tianbei City. It's time to get rid of the monsters outside. Take a good look at it, and see how this young master fights cats and kills monsters. Saying that, the little fox Matsuyama swung the fan and took Tom out with big strides. It's a pity that by the time the Matsuyama little fox took Tom out, Nifajologo had already been taken away by Wang Jing's. There are traitors on the human side. The players who came out and couldn't find Nifajologo hated the traitor. When Tomcat was summoned, Wang Jing saw it clearly in the live broadcast, so naturally he didn't dare to let Nifajologo die in this place. This Tom is not the Tom in the world of Tom and Jerry, but an elite cat who has traveled through multiple two-dimensional worlds with Xiaoruo, and Miaozu who is proficient in breathing water, let alone such a small character as Nifajologo. Even if another big monster comes, it may not be able to withstand it. He told Nifajologo about the situation, and Nifajologo also sensed the crisis and immediately chose to escape. But the two of them ran away, and the remaining monsters would be miserable. Under the command of the master, Tom was not polite, and he drew his sword at the monsters all over the sky. Soon, the corpses of countless monsters fell from the sky. Where Tom's sword passed, streams of water sprayed in the air, as if the one fighting was not a cat, but a master swordsman. Tomcat's water breathing is actually comparable to Xiaoruo's. Coupled with Tom's extraordinary physical fitness and various unreasonable and funny settings, even ordinary swordsmanship can be exerted incredible power, so Tom's fighting power is only much stronger than Kirito and Asuna. Learning ability max, growth limit max, immortal body buff. Heroic spirit Tom, AT0 level heroic spirit. As long as Tom is there, Xiangyang Hotel will become a fortress that will never fall to mankind. In a taxi in the distance, Wang Jing's and Nifajologo were watching the live broadcast of Tom killing monsters. As a monster, Nifajologo may be the first monster to accept human technology. When monsters invade this world, they will gradually learn about human technology. Of course, this is also thanks to the contribution of human traitors. Nifajologo glanced at the live broadcast, feeling a little scared. If I hadn't run fast, I would probably have been killed by that cat demon. As for counter-killing, since the man next to me said that this cat demon was immortal, Nifajaologo had no idea. Not only this cat demon, but Nifajaologo also watched other live broadcasts just now. Among them, the pink-haired maid heroic spirit seemed to be able to tear herself apart with just one look. And that scary black-haired Maiko. A mighty swordsman. This world is not a weak world at all, there are crises everywhere. Where are we going now? Nifajaologo raised her head in a daze. She didn't seem to know the direction the car was going. She actually wanted to return to her original world, but that space crack was a one-way tunnel, and she couldn't go back at all. In other words, she couldn't return to her own world. Nifajaologo felt a little bit at a loss about his future. Master Jaologo, go back to my house first. Your clothes are too eye-catching. I will buy you some clothes in the mall later. You should change your clothes first, and there seems to be food for monsters in the mall. I will bring you some clothes. Eat something, you seem to have been included in the hunting list. During this time, you can stay with me first, my family is very big. Wang Jing suggested to the current reverse-hair Jaologo with a serious face. Nifajaologo turned his head and stared at Wang Jing's face for about 3 seconds. This man has indeed been helping herself, and it's not that annoying. In the end, she seems to have made some kind of decision. Okay, I will listen to you. Okay, don't worry, my house is really big, and there are many interesting things in my house. After Nifajaologo agreed to go home with him, the smile on Wang Jing's face could no longer be controlled. We all go home together, and then go to school together, eat together, watch movies together, isn't that all right? This is the version answer. He seems to have begun to imagine the beautiful cohabitation life between himself and the beautiful girl monster in the second dimension. He never thought that the monster is so simple and so easy to abduct back home. The cohabitation life with the two-dimensional beauty seems to be able to write a novel. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I can break the dimensional wall. Author, Zhou Jumiao. Chapter 430. The development of the original world is as smooth as Xiaoruo imagined. Heroic spirits and monsters appeared in Tianbei City in overwhelm. Familiar characters appear one by one, making players hooked. The invasion of monsters did not destroy the two-dimensional world established in the real world. With the help of heroic spirits, players gained a firm foothold in the two-dimensional world of the original world. The only disadvantage is that the number of heroic spirits is too small. As a game, it is completely unqualified. However, with the expansion of the Hall of Valor, the number of heroic spirits will continue to grow, and more monsters of heroic spirits from fantasy worlds will be added. We'll also add more style and fun. The first day in the original world was spent peacefully like this. For the safety and security of the players, and various other reasons, the closed beta period of the original world only lasted until 6 p.m. before closing, and the time may be extended in the future. After all, this is just an internal test. At 6 o'clock, the spiritual power of the players disappears. Even if they continue to carry the Agma, the heroic spirits and monsters will disappear before their eyes. It was as if everything I experienced the day before was a two-dimensional dream. From the second dimension, back to the real world. This interlacing of reality and illusion makes players feel unreal, but everything that happened on this day is actually happening, and there are related videos on the internet. This kind of adventure in the real world is really amazing. Let the players want to stop. Many players even hope to hurry to the next day and return to that weird Tianbei city full of monsters. Because there are thrills and excitements that are not available in the real world, you can start an adventure that you have never had before. Meow. At 6 o'clock, Tom's figure disappeared into the air. Because the original world was closed, the master lost the support of spiritual power, so the heroic spirit will also be sent back to the original world and the original place. Where's Tom? Where's Tom? The little fox Songshan looked over his shoulder. Obviously Tom had been sitting there just now. Why suddenly disappeared? Don't look, don't you know that the original world will be closed at 6 o'clock during the closed beta? Yuhua patted the little fox on the shoulder and said, let's call again tomorrow, and you can still see Tom tomorrow. This world has just begun. 6 o'clock, so soon? Little fox Songshan is still a little reluctant to part with him, and his tone is a little low. Compared with the real world, he prefers himself in the original world. In that world, I am no longer ordinary. Dear Ram, we're going to the headquarters of Rising Company soon. That guy Xiaoruo should be there. Well, thank you, Master. You look thin and weak, but you are a good person unexpectedly. Ram's master took Ram to find Xiaoruo. Although it is a heroic spirit summoned by himself, but in the face of the request of the two-dimensional beautiful girl, the master decided to fulfill the wish of his own heroic spirit. He was not a fan of Ram at first, but after spending the whole afternoon together, he already fell in love with this powerful but cute and simple girl, not only because he was rescued by Ram, but also because, the girl in the second dimension, they all have a feeling of being pure and flawless and wanting to be guarded. This master has always wanted such a sister. It's just that he can feel that Ram likes Xiaoruo. Although he doesn't like the role of Xiaoruo very much, he feels a bit like a cabbage being raped by a pig, but since Ram wants to see him, he still brings Ram here, even though he knows that he and Ram can meet Xiaoruo's not much hope. However, when the two of them got out of the car and stood in front of Rising Company, it was already 6 o'clock. After the original world was closed, the master lost his spiritual power, and Ram was sent back to the original world. Before being sent back to the original world, Ram's eyes seemed to still have the expectation of seeing Xiaoruo soon. Cao. Seeing Ram disappear before his eyes, Ram's master punched the air hard. He forgot the closing time of the original world. At this moment, he decided that Xiaoruo would be dark all his life. ReZero world. Sister, where did you go just now? It was still the place where she was summoned before, and Ram, who was dressed as a maid, was standing there quietly. It seemed that she had been waiting here after her sister left. Seeing that her sister was fine, Ram was also relieved. I'm back. Ram's voice was a little low, and Ram could clearly feel that his sister seemed very disappointed. The home of Wang Jing's, who is strong and strong. After Wang Jing's brought Nifajioluo back, he began to tidy up the room, decorated the guest bedroom with items from the mall, bought a bed and quilt at the mall, and dressed his guest bedroom as a dark princess bungalow. Although his family is not very rich, they are considered well-to-do, so these outfits are affordable. After all, the prices set by the mall are not high, and he is ready to live with Nifajioluo in the future. Just let Reverse Fahiluo live here. Master Jiluo, you can sleep here at night. However, when he tidied up the room and turned around, he found that Nifajioluo had disappeared. The two-dimensional beautiful girl of the dark department just now disappeared into her home suddenly. Master Jiluo. Master Jiluo. Wang Jing's yelled a few times, but did not hear a familiar response. What's the matter? Who are you calling again? Why are you so nervous when you come back today? Master Jiluo. Also, what are you doing cleaning the guest room? Wang Jing's mother heard her son's voice and came in. Wang Jing's mother is a woman in her 40s. She looked at her son strangely. She found that since her son wore what looked like an earphone behind his head, he seemed abnormal when he returned home. After coming back, she would talk into the air. At first, she thought her son had earphones on his ears, and he was on the phone with a friend just now, but now, her son was obviously looking for someone at home. However, who else is there in the family besides himself, and his son's father hasn't left work yet? It was as if the sun had been looking for something he couldn't see. Thinking of this, Wang Jing's mother felt a chill on the back of her neck. Although Wang Jing's mother also knew about the game of Yuanjia, after all, the advertisements of Yuanjia were everywhere in Tianbei City, but for a person like her who had never played a game in her life, it was not a thing of the same world at all, even if she saw it, and chose to ignore it, so they didn't understand what the original world was. She just knew that her son seemed to be looking for someone she couldn't see at home. After searching for a while, Wang Jing seemed to have thought of something. He opened the official website of the original world on Ogma and inquired about some relevant information. Wang Jing's, like many players in the original world, did not know that the original world ended at 6 o'clock. Sure enough, Wang Jing soon found out that in the setting of the original world, the function of activating spiritual power on Ogma will disappear after 6 o'clock, and it will not be activated until 6 o'clock the next day. Hair tied. After learning the truth, Wang Jing's lay down on the bed a little discouraged. After being happy for so long, I found out that at 6 o'clock, the two-dimensional beautiful girl I abducted to my home disappeared. Who knew that the news would be low? Everything is like a dream. An incomparably real but illusory dream of happiness is only a 6 o'clock, and the dream is over. However, compared to the dream, Wang Jing's feels empty in his mind, as if he has lost something. And, will reverse Fat Joe logo still be there tomorrow? Will it be refreshed? Is the reverse hair not that I saw again, the one from yesterday? Does the memory still exist? Wang Jing's was a little dazed. Soon, Wang Jing sat up again, his eyes suddenly became firm. Master Joe logo, I know you're here. Although I can't see you, you must be there. You probably haven't left yet. Wang Jing suddenly shouted to the empty room. Son, what are you talking about? There is no one else in our family. Are you tired from playing games? Wang Jing's mother looked at her son and thought that there must be something wrong with him. There is no one at home, and he is still there. Looking for someone. Mom, it's okay, I'm rehearsing for a school performance. Wang Jing's found a random reason, pushed his mother out of the room, and then looked at the empty room. I know you're here, you haven't left. Wang Jing's tone was still very firm. It can be seen from the kidnapping of the monster that he was the first to understand the version. Wang Jing's felt that according to the setting, the heroic spirit would return to the original world without the support of the master's spiritual power, but the monsters are different. Lord, and Nifajologo also told herself that she can't go back to that world now. Therefore, even if the original game is closed, monsters should still be free in Tianbei City, but they cannot cause harm to humans. Therefore, although she couldn't see reverse hair Jologo, she was still here with a high probability. Still in this room. Although Wang Jing's thinks it is a bit outrageous, he believes in the original world. Even if he only played for a day, he believes that this game is an independent world. You can hear your own voice. This is a real two-dimensional world, so the setting of this world must be followed. He had to do something now, he needed to communicate with her, otherwise, he was afraid that Nifajologo would disappear. Even if it was only an afternoon together, he still didn't want Nifajologo to disappear like that. After all, she was the first two-dimensional girl he knew. The beautiful girl who was finally abducted home, how could she let her run away so easily? Master Jologo, although I can't see you now, I will be able to see you again tomorrow morning, so don't worry, don't leave, trust me, I won't lie to you. By the way, I said before yes, I'll watch a sci-fi movie with you, and I'll show it to you right now. Wang Jing's took out his tablet computer, chose the sci-fi movie that he had talked about with Nifajologo before, and chose to open it. This movie was the movie that Nifajologo was most interested in when chatting with him. It is a horror type that kills humans with alien blasts. Wang Jing's didn't go back to his room, but lay down on the bed in the guest bedroom, half lying down, half of the space was left, and at the same time, Wang Jing's leaned the tablet in his hand towards the reserved space. It was as if there was another person on the other side of the bed. The movie was playing slowly. While watching the movie, Wang Jing's talked to the air on one side, explaining some knowledge and content of the movie, as if he was watching a movie with the air. If someone watched this scene, it would definitely feel weird. Because, Wang Jing's was indeed watching a movie alone, and there was no one around him, so his behavior did not look like what a normal person could do. It's just that Wang Jing's firmly believes that although he can't see it, Nifajologo is by his side, and everything he does is meaningful. Original world. From Yuanji's perspective, Wang Jing's was lying on the bed, and beside him was a black-haired beautiful girl in the second dimension. The beautiful girl leaned against Wang Jing's and watched a movie with him. The two were very close to each other. From this perspective, Wang Jing's actions were not strange, but they looked like a couple in love. Reverse Fahilogo stayed. After realizing that the boy couldn't see her, Nifajologo felt cheated, but in the end, she stayed and she chose to believe the boy. Because even though the boy couldn't see himself, he still talked to himself and made himself believe in him. Even if his family didn't understand, even if he couldn't see himself, he still kept his promise and watched movies with him, even though he couldn't see anything and didn't know where he was. Some stupid actions of this person moved Nifajologo slightly. So Nifajologo planned to wait for him until tomorrow. While watching a movie, Nifajologo looked at the boy beside him from time to time. Even if he can't see himself, I can break the dimensional wall. Author, Zhou Jumiao. Chapter 431. In just the first day, Xiaoruo received tens of thousands of reputation from Yingling. Xiaoruo was also surprised by this speed. Doing fan animation by myself is exhausting, and I brought Tomcat to find the protagonist of the animation to gain popularity. I can't earn a few hundred reputations. I didn't expect to make a game and exploit the heroic spirits. I can earn so much. It really is a crooked way come to the reputation quickly. If you are an honest fan, how long will it take to accumulate 10,000 reputation? Even Xiaoruo hoped that the original world would be open 24 hours a day. However, this is just thinking about it. At least not during the closed beta. With the popularity of the players now, if the original world is really open 24 hours a day, it is estimated that there will be countless complaints from parents the next day. If someone is injured at night, the original world will have to take the blame. In fact, letting players take a break and discussing online can also increase the prestige of heroic spirits. Moreover, the number of heroic spirits is insufficient now, and the heroic spirits also need to rest. Just when Xiaoruo finally gained prestige and was thinking about how to spend it, Xiaoruo suddenly felt a change in the Fantasy Hall of Valor. Xiaoruo quickly sensed it, only to find out that someone used the function of the mall. The function of the heroic mall was also built by Xiaoruo with the power of fantasy, and this was the first time it was used. Thinking of this, the corners of Xiaoruo's mouth couldn't help but curl up slightly. Heroic Spirit Mall. The welfare mall really built for the heroic spirits is an opportunity for all the heroic spirits. It depends on how the heroic spirits use it. To Xiaoruo, players in the real world are players, and to Xiaoruo, the heroic character is actually a player. After joining the Fantasy Hall of Valor, they are Xiaoruo's own people. The world of Sword Art Online. Because the master was disconnected from the internet, the heroic spirit was naturally sent back to the original world. In Kirito's home, at this moment, Kirito, Asuna, and Shino are all sitting around the table. There are only 3 of them in the house now, and Kirito made excuses for the rest of them to leave. After all, what they talked about next was very important and very bizarre, and it was safest to choose their own home. At this moment, the expressions of the 3 of them were a little serious. After all, the 3 of them have just experienced a bizarre event that seems inaccessible to ordinary people, just like ordinary people entering the space of the Lord God, fearful, but also a little bit of expectation. Asuna was the first to break the silence. By the way, for the game Original Realm, do you think the items in the mall are real? At the beginning, Asuna just regarded Original Realm as a game with some mysterious power. After entering the game, she also fully fulfilled the responsibility of a heroic spirit, protecting many players under the hands of monsters. She didn't feel that there is something wrong with the content of the game, but I just feel that the setting of heroic spirits is quite strange, and it is completely different from the type of fighting monsters and upgrading in general games. Moreover, both the master and the protected people are very enthusiastic, cheering for themselves all the time, which gives her a sense of satisfaction as a heroic spirit. As for the items in the mall, Asuna had already quit the game before even looking at them. Kirito had told her about the resurrection items in the mall. When she heard that the items in the mall could revive the dead, Asuna also felt that her three views were about to collapse. Reviving the dead is no longer a game, no, it should be said that it cannot be done by scientific means. It's very bizarre, but I still want to try it. I always feel that the game is a bit strange, Kirito frowned, as if recalling some details in the game. It's not just because of being able to use SAO and Allo to back up data. When I was in that world, I always had a strange feeling, as if Original World was not a game, but a real world. Besides, Original Realm is too mysterious. The way we enter the game does not require equipment, and we can log in when we hear the call. Where does the game connect to our nerves? I checked, and now there is no such isolation. Empty connected device. Shino quietly lowered her head, she didn't know what to say. Original Realm is really strange, Sinan also knows it. But she trusts Syaruo, believes that Syaruo will not deceive herself, believes everything that the man who hugged her once said, and believes that everyone can benefit from that game, so she invites her partners to enter Original Realm. Shino also knew nothing about the actual information of that game. Being able to achieve this level shows how much Shino trusts Syaruo. This kind of very pure trust may be rare in the real world, but in the second dimension, girls who are willing to trust a person like this are very common. Original Realm is not a game at all, it may be something we can't understand. Because of this, the things in the Heroic Spirit Mall may be real, Kirito said, looking at Shino. "Si now, can you still contact Syaruo? He gave you this game, so he should know something." Sinan shook her head. "No, Syaruo didn't leave any contact information at that time, but Syaruo said that we should meet soon. And he also said that if we enter Original Realm, we can get unexpected benefits from Original Realm. I think the items in the mall should be the benefits that Syaruo said. I believe him." Sensing Sinan's trust in Syaruo, Asuna turned her head to look at Sinan, who was sitting there quietly. She had always thought that Sinan and the boy named Syaruo were boyfriend and girlfriend, after all they seemed to have such a good relationship, and Syaruo helped solve her amnesia problem at that time, but she didn't expect that she didn't even have contact information. A man who ran away without leaving any contact information felt like a scumbag. Asuna shook her head, probably thinking too much. And these are not the main points, the main point is the resurrection props. This kind of thing, even in SAO, no, it should be said that it is a very precious item in any game, but it can be bought directly in Original World, if it can be used in the real world. A figure with purple hair, that long sword, and a strong smile suddenly appeared in Asuna's mind. "Yuki." Asuna murmured. In Asuna's heart, there is also someone who wants to be resurrected, the purple-haired girl who used to play games with her, the strongest swordsman in Allo. Absolutely invincible sword, unique sword. She was such a strong girl, but she died of the disease in the end. If the resurrection is true, she will resurrect that girl even if she pays any price. On the other hand, when thinking of resurrection, Kirito would unconsciously think of the weak girl who died in front of his eyes, his first love, which was also the pain in his heart. Fortunate. Kirito's thinking is similar to Asuna's, to resurrect his important person at all costs. Shino looked up at Kirito and Asuna, felt that both of them were caught in some kind of yearning, and probably understood their thoughts. If you want to know if it's true, try it once and you'll know soon. Shino's voice brought Kirito and Asuna back from their memories. The sub-level Ghost Girl Lidao's resurrection technique only needs 500 prestige, which is too cheap compared to some game Krypton Gold props, and it doesn't use Krypton Gold or liver. Although I only played for a day today, 500 prestige is not enough. Not much, you should have earned it. Why don't we buy it first and try it out, Sinan suggested. Kirito and Asuna looked at each other. Okay, I'll buy one first. If I can revive that child, I'd like to try. Asuna stood up. Although she was not the first heroic spirit to be summoned, because of her popularity and outstanding, it shows that Asuna also has more than 800 prestige, which is more than enough to buy a resurrection. Asuna couldn't wait to think of Yuuki's resurrection. Okay, we can try first, Kirito agreed from the side. Just do it. Although Asuna has withdrawn from the original world, because she has signed a contract with the Fantasy Hall of Valor, even if Asuna is not in the original world, she can still enter the Mall of Heroes. Obviously not wearing any equipment, but seeing the mall interface appearing in front of her, Asuna was a little flustered at first, but soon, Asuna adjusted her state and found her goal. Ghost Girl Lidao's resurrection technique. Seeing the target, Asuna chose to buy it. Just after choosing to buy, Asuna saw that the prestige value on her account dropped by 500, and then, without warning, a summoning circle appeared in the living room of Kirito's house. Swish! A summoning circle appeared in front of the three of them out of thin air. This is... Kirito, Asuna and Sinan all stood up, facing the summoning circle. The two girls backed away a few steps in fear. Such a bizarre thing happened in reality. For those of them who have only played games for ordinary people, the impact is really a bit big. Kirito subconsciously protected the two girls behind him, watching the summoning circle vigilantly. This summoning circle is very similar to the heroic spirit summoning circle, but it doesn't have such gorgeous special effects, it just shimmers with blue light. But even if this is the only way, it looks scary enough. After all, this is not a game, but the three of them were mentally prepared before, so they wouldn't turn around and run away in fright. Hey, is the store finally going to open? Accompanied by a cold and piercing voice, an old lady wrapped in blue demon fire was summoned out of thin air from the summoning circle. The old lady was wearing old clothes in pink and blue, with a bamboo box on her back, and a huge sickle under her feet. She didn't look like a normal old lady. After she appeared, the temperature in the living room dropped a few degrees. Who is it, who summoned my ghost girl Lidao? He, the doll I made is the most perfect work of art. The ghost girl Lidao appeared in the living room of Tongren's house. Her appearance was horrifying. Even though she had regained some youth, the wrinkles on her face were still deep. Like ghosts. Of course, she is also a ghost herself. Even if Lidao's strength is not very good, she is still a monster for hundreds of years. Seeing the real appearance of the old lady, both Asuna and Shino couldn't help swallowing, as if they were a little frightened. It's you, do you want me to resurrect the dead? He. The ghost girl Li Tao's big eyes rolled twice, and stared at the three humans in front of her. They were the only ones here, so they should be the clients this time. It's just that Li Tao, the ghost girl, is a little strange. With Xiaoruo's approval, she has now joined the Fantasy Hall of Valor, and even considers herself Xiaoruo's confidant. So she has some understanding of the Fantasy Hall of Valor. In Lidao's view, only the powerful can join the Hall of Valor and gain prestige, but the three humans in front of her don't look like powerful guys at all. Even, weak. Kirito looked at the ghost girl Lidao who appeared from the summoning circle, and finally realized that all the things in the mall might be real. The monster in front of him should be the ghost girl Lidao mentioned in the item introduction. She is the one with the power of resurrection. Kirito took a deep breath and replied calmly. Yes, we summoned you. The ghost girl Li Tao stared at this young man for a few seconds. Although she felt that this human being was weak and unworthy of gaining prestige and entering the Hall of Valor, she came here today to earn prestige, and she didn't want to do any unnecessary things. She just wanted to complete the order as soon as possible. Leave. Li Tao only wanted to earn fame and regain his youth, and he didn't care about the rest. Although the few people in front of them are weak, they may not have backgrounds. Resurrection is possible, but it has been marked before. To resurrect the dead, you need to provide corpses and ashes. The ghost girl Li Tao's nose moved, and she sniffed lightly a few times, as if sensing something. The ghost girl Li Tao cracked a terrifying smile. You don't seem to have prepared the ashes. The ghost girl Li Tao glared at Kirito, who was standing in the front. Being stared at by that terrifying gaze, even Kirito couldn't help breaking out in a cold sweat. The terrifying eyes and sense of oppression have been reminding Kirito that this is not a game, they are talking with monsters. Ah, I forgot, but Yuaki has already been buried. How could I get her ashes? Asuna hid behind Kirito. This old lady was too scary. Asuna didn't even dare to look at her eyes. He, you dare to call me out without even preparing the ashes? Do you want me to resurrect you out of thin air? After a few sneers, the ghost girl Lidao's voice became colder, and the temperature in the living room seemed to drop again. Oops. Kirito was also a little panicked. I and others seem to have summoned something bad. This is not a game, they are all ordinary people, they can't fight against this terrible monster at all. It seems that even sending them away has become a problem. Sure enough, it was too reckless to use that weird shopping mall without authorization, and Kirito regretted it a little. At this moment, the ghost girl Lidao spoke again, but this time the voice seemed softer. Help find bones, dig graves, charge 300 prestige, do you need it? Kirito, Asuna, and Shino all shifted their gazes to the ghost girl Lidao, and felt that the mother-in-law's temperament changed in an instant, becoming less scary. 300 prestige, do you want it? I'm leaving. By the way, the prestige that has already been paid will not be refunded. Yes. 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 Asuna hurriedly stopped her. She had decided before that as long as Yuaki could be revived, she would do anything. Although the monster mother-in-law in front of her was a little scary, she did have the power to be resurrected. Hey. The ghost girl Li Tao looked at the little fellows in front of her, as if she saw three fat sheep. Her eyes were much kinder. I am one step closer to being young. Please remember the first domain name of this book. _WAP